Let's talk about the difference between vulvodynia and vaginismus. Hey, I'm Jess. I'm a trauma-informed pelvic floor occupational therapist and a vaginismus recovery coach, and I have gotten to help women from around the world be able to get past the struggle and the frustration of both vaginismus and vulvodynia. So let's talk a little bit about the difference between the two of these. So both vaginismus and vulvodynia are a struggle and they're frustrating, and they both affect our vulvar vaginal region. Vaginismus is an involuntary muscle reaction that we get upon something coming in, whether that's a finger, a tampon, a speculum, a menstrual cup, a vaginal ultrasound, a penis, whatever. Sometimes it's all of those are a struggle, and sometimes it's only one of those or a couple of those that can be a struggle. That struggle can look like something can't come in, or it can be a burning, stinging response on the inside of our vaginal canal. Now, vaginismus doesn't necessarily have something structural going on with us. It's a response that our body's giving in a certain situation, the situation being penetration. So we want to be able to understand a little bit more of the condition of vaginismus. It's not that we're too small. It's not that we're too tight. It's not that there's something in the way. It's just that our muscles are reacting in a way to try and inhibit the activity that they don't want, and that's penetration typically. And so upon something coming in, our muscles are reacting with either contracting or giving us a burning or stinging response. There are misunderstandings between the vaginal canal and the brain about what's happening. We're getting the wrong cells firing, we're getting the wrong neurons activating, and what we need to do is switch the communication channels and rewrite the narrative about what's happening. So that's vaginismus. The distinction with this, I would say, is that it's a functional struggle in a sense, where we're trying to do the act of inserting something and we're getting this response happening. Vulvodynia, on the other hand, is also a communication struggle between the cells of our vulva and our brain, but it's more so not situation dependent. It's not a functional limitation. It's kind of a general pain that's happening. So vulvodynia happens within our vulva region. Within that, there can be different types of dynias. We can have clitoridynia, which is pain in the clitoris. We can have vestibulodynia, which is more pain in that vestibule of the vulva. You can have pain on one side of your vulva. It's unique and it's different, but it's all equally frustrating. So vulvodynia is typically a burning or stinging pain response that we get on the external tissue of our genitalia, so our vulvar region. For some people, this can be provoked, which means it's when they do a certain movement or they wear a certain type of texture or if they touch their vulvar region, then it elicits this pain response. For others, it's unprovoked and it just happens. It's just painful and it's kind of a constant pain that happens. The difference in the distinguishing thing between vaginismus, vulvodynia, and other conditions of the vulvar area, these are diagnoses that happens after we've kind of ruled out a lot of other things. And so it's important that you see your gynecologist and your medical provider to further differentiate what's happening down there. Oftentimes, if nothing comes back on a lab result or an imaging study, we'll get a definition of vaginismus or vulvodynia. And it's just hey, we don't necessarily have a black or white answer for what's happening, but based on your symptoms and everything you're describing, and sometimes we do a little test where we touch the vulvar region or we try and insert something, but based on what we found, it seems like this is the most logical explanation for what you're experiencing. And that can be frustrating because we all want yes, no, do I have this, do I not, what do I do about this? But with vaginismus and vulvodynia, they're both a little bit more elusive and a little less concrete. But that doesn't mean they're any harder to treat. We can definitely work through both vaginismus and vulvodynia. We just need to do a very good job at supporting our body and our mind and our vulvas and vaginas so that we can get communication to happen better. Because right now, for both vulvodynia and vaginismus, there's a disconnect about what's happening in our genital region, what's coming up to the brain, what's happening in our brain, and what's being sent down to our vulvovaginal region. And we want to fix and fine-tune that communication so we're getting the right signals that lead to a body that works with us instead of against us. And so vulvodynia and vaginismus are both, yes, treatable. Vaginismus, we're going to do things like using dilators and practicing insertion and working through communication with inserting things. With vulvodynia, we don't get as much structure. We're going to do a lot more with just general understanding and exercises that we can do with our pelvic floor to reframe what's happening down there. But again, both are treatable. You are not broken. I would say vaginismus has a prevalence, and it's so different. It's so hard to study these things because people don't really share. But about 17 to 23% of women experience vaginismus, and vulvodynia, that's about 16%. So they're common enough that we need to be having more conversations about these, and we need to let women know that they do not have to sit in pain. This does not have to be their reality, and we can do better at supporting our bodies, especially our vulvas and vaginas, to be able to function and move and work the way they're supposed to without pain. And so if this is you and this is your story, we want to be able to partner with you in your journey towards healing. I would love to meet and have a conversation with you. The best way is over a free consultation. That's where we can hear more about your story, what you've been through, whether it's vulvodynia or vaginismus, and what we can do to maybe take those next steps towards getting past this once and for all. I've been there too, and I experienced vaginismus for 8 years, but I know now that I've been 6 years pain-free that it's so beautiful on the other side. And so that's worth pursuing. Keep going, keep fighting, and keep working towards getting past this so that you can have a body that works with you instead of against you.